Hello, I'm Eric Houston, and welcome to In Focus. This month, we're going to do something a little different and focus in on a producer who has been a longtime volunteer here at North Metro TV, but is in the midst of completing his first solo project. Our guest is Mark Steensgard, who will talk to us about Passion for Fashion, an exciting inside look at the local Twin Cities fashion scene that will combine insightful interviews with Mark's trademark camera eye. He'll also talk to us about a number of other programs he's been working on here at North Metro TV, including the long-running series Art Beat. Let's take a look at that.
Our mission is to help artists make a living and a life, and we have a whole set of programs.
It's not rocket science. It's a 10-foot piece of rope with a hook at the end. We got 3 of them hanging the equipment shed out back. One of them is thicker but a little shorter. One of them looks thin as shoelaces, but it's a good half-foot longer. If you got first pick, take that one. Looks flimsy. Trust me, you'll break before it comes. These are the days before robots.
Mark, welcome to In Focus.
Glad to be here.
Glad to be here. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too,
Well,
Eric.
thank you. Now, Mark, let's go all the way back to the beginning.
The beginning.
The beginning. How did you get started at North Metro TV?
North Metro. That beginning. Well, I'd been into photography already. I thought I wanted to kind of augment my photographic experience, and there was a class that was available that mentioned cinematography, television production. I thought there's a lot that I could learn there, and so I decided I should probably investigate that. And so this was like, what, 4 years ago, I think, no?
Yeah, I think you started here even before I did.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes. So I started with that class. I think at that time, I think it was Damien was teaching that class at that time. Anyways, so that's kind of where I started, back 4 years ago.
Okay.
Took a class. Thought I'd just kind of augment my photography with it.
Okay. Now, when you say that you had a history with still photography, what do you mean? Like, how long had you been doing still photography, and what was sort of your experience with that?
I've kind of gone in and out of it a little bit. I remember once when I was, I think in junior high, I went on a trip to Duluth from Minneapolis here, and I had a camera with me on the train. It was a train that we took up there, and I remember I took a picture of myself on it. And I remember, I don't think I have that picture anymore, but it was like one of the things I thought, this is amazing. I can capture myself in an environment, in a place, and so that always intrigued me. So I've had 35 millimeters over the years, and I've done, taken pictures of family events and things. But like in the last 5 years, maybe almost 6 years, I started getting into digital photography, which became kind of a whole different realm of interacting with it, like an interface with it, because digital environment is a little different than film. You can do some different things with it. And I think that's part of the reason I thought that the digital video would be another thing to add to it, or I could integrate with it well. So now I've had a couple of nice DSLR cameras. That's digital SLR.
Right.
And that's been a real pleasure to me.
And it was that interest then in the image that brought you into the TV world.
Yes.
And to doing stuff here.
Yes.
Now, you said you've been here for 4 years, and I remember that for a long time you weren't necessarily associated with a specific show. I mean, when I started working here, I remember that a lot of the times you would come in and you just wanted to check out the camera just to practice it and play with it, which was something that always impressed me, that you had that much interest in it to want to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. To me, that was, I like to experiment with that. I do that with my still camera as well. It's like experimenting with what's in front of the camera and how I can work and manipulate that, and then how the camera captures that. And it was the same thing like with the video cameras, to discover what their range and capability, what they could do, and just the fact that it made me more familiar with them and working with them and doing a good job with them. Because I'm kind of a perfectionist, you know, and because I want to make sure it works well. Right. And that was part of my motivation to do that.
Right. And so, and then, you know, you got very familiar with the camera. You became very, very adept with it. And I know that you volunteered on some stuff here and there with myself or with TJ. But before too long, you found a show to work on, and that was Artbeat.
Yes.
So how did you get what is Artbeat, and how did you get associated with it?
Artbeat is a production that Linda Davis is the producer of. It highlights artists, their work, their journey, how they came to do and be what they are. And it highlights artists of every kind of discipline, whether it's visual, whether it's performing arts. And I think at that, there was a point when I mentioned to Damien at one point that I was interested in, that would be my desire, to have a show something like that. Dealing with the arts, interacting with the arts, focusing on people who are in the arts. And so he had I think at that point, I think he mentioned that Artbeat was something that Linda Davis was looking to begin a production on. Yeah. And so got connected with Linda Davis and Artbeat, and kind of been there ever since. It's been fun. I love the arts. Yeah.
What's been, so like, what kind of stuff have you done with Artbeat? What kind of, because it's you and Linda, but then it's also Rick, who we're going to have on the show later. Yes. And Stevie and Jeanette was there for a while. There's been a lot of people associated with it.
Yeah, Jeanette Such. Those are pretty much the mainstays that have been part of it.
But what kind of stuff have you been doing with the Artbeat?
Well, the latest thing was the thing called Bounce Bash, which is really, really a fun shoot. It was a fundraiser for artists as far as health care and things like that. And so they had a variety of performers at it. It was, they had like poetry, slam poetry, instrumentals, and things like that. And for me, that was like a really fun environment because I got to shoot it freehand, like a handheld camera, which meant I could go places and be somewhere where a tripod would be encumbering. So to me, it's like the performance is something, it's almost like you find an interaction with performance. Right. To me, sometimes I think of it almost like a dance. I interact and I follow what they're doing. And so to do that, it becomes both, you follow the tempo, you follow the activity, and sometimes you, like in that one, I began to skew the frames, which made an interesting image. Right. And part of it is getting close to them, getting different points of view. No, those are always fun to discover.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I agree with that entirely, especially when you're filming artistic pursuits and performance art. It seems like when you go there and you approach it with the camera and the eye for the camera that you possess, that it becomes, yeah, you kind of become a little bit more of a collaborator in making a new thing, right? You know, because it's not just like, it's one kind of performance art when it's on the stage, but when, you know, a camera person gets involved and they do the dance, like you're saying, it kind of becomes something new and collaborative.
Yes, I love that. And I do. I see that as being a collaborative effort because, like, what you're alluding to, it's like what the camera person is doing is creating another piece of work that integrates or utilizes or interacts with what the performers are doing. Right. Yes.
Okay. So, but Artbeat is only one of the projects that you have worked on over the years. You volunteer on a lot of shows. I know you've helped out myself and a lot of your other fellow Access people, but you've also taken a number of classes here. And one of them led to something called Alchemy of Glass.
Alchemy of Glass.
So talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, Alchemy of Glass was kind of a workshop that it was an environment where the students or the attendees got to work together and choose a subject. With that subject, there was like some interaction and finally a decision to create, settle on a subject. Team selection. In the process, so the one that we chose as the team that we were on was a place called Foci Glass, which is a glass blowing kind of environment. They have glass furnaces and everything. So we went there, captured interviews with he's actually like the chairman or something. Basically the guy who runs the place. It's like an open studio kind of environment, as well as the people who utilize that facility. So it was a fun thing to do because it was for me. It was also had to do with art.
Right.
That was one of the reasons that drew me to it. It was interesting to capture this, capture the footage of interviews, the activity of what takes place there, and then bring it back and then put it together and find ways to present it that is really fun and exciting. Which to me, the alchemy, like when you mentioned, it's like the Alchemy of Glass was an honorable mention that came with that too.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. It's award winning. Or at least runner-upping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was really exciting. It's encouraging too. It's like, that is very cool.
Well, no, you did it. It was for the documentary workshop that we do here. I don't know if you said the name of the class or not. I don't think so,
I don't
but
think
anyway. But it was a class we do here a couple times a year, and it was you and Laura and Annette and John.
Yes.
And you guys did a fantastic job with it, and it was sent to the Hometown Awards Committee, and the Hometown Awards are kind of the Emmys of public access television. Yeah, you guys got a runner-up for short subject that year.
That was cool.
Which is really cool.
I thought it was really fun. It was fun to do the production, but then like hearing that somebody who has a critical eye on it said that's very neat. All right.
Wow, I was very proud of you guys. I was very proud.
Working with that hot temperature and only having either a wet newspaper or whatever tools between you and the glass, gives you a sense of power, a sense of danger, and it's a lot of fun.
It's adventurous at times when I'm trying new things. I don't know, it's not really one thing, and I'm constantly trying new techniques, and I don't know, so that's I guess where the frustration part of it comes in, but then it's so rewarding once I actually get something down.
Working with glass is like being 5 and it's your birthday.
I've never really felt this strongly about a certain medium of art before, and it's just amazing to work with it, just like getting so close to it and just feeling that burn. It's a really good feeling.
Working with glass is it's really fun.
You really don't get a lot of time to think about things. So what you get to do is just kind of lose yourself in the moment of glass blowing and the fluidity of the glass, and just provide you an empty space in your head where you don't get to think about a lot of stuff. So you get to watch the transition, the alchemy of glass. And it's such a fast and fluid medium that it's really isn't a lot of time to think about things. There's just really a lot of time to enjoy stuff.
But lately you've kind of gone on from, you're still helping out a lot of people, but you're also now working on, I think really for the first time, your own show.
Yes, it's in a process that I'm endeavoring to create something. Yes.
Right.
It's about fashion, and at least tentatively up to this point, the name is Passion for Fashion.
Right.
As a matter of fact, which the intent is to kind of discover what the scene of fashion is in the Twin Cities, which means meeting like designers, fashion designers, those who design the apparel, photographers in that environment, MUAs, the makeup artists, stylists, those who are part of the scene that promote it, and so on and so forth. So we can get a feel of what's going on there, models, you know, where they fit into it. So it's a show that I guess my hope is to discover what the scene of fashion is in the Twin Cities.
And is this something that you're kind of thinking of as a one-time special, or you want to make a series out of it?
I'd like to make a series out of it. That would be my ultimate goal. Yes.
And what brings you? Why fashion?
Well, for me, fashion is an interesting thing. I probably always loved art, which is, you know, but in fashion is really part of it's an artistic endeavor. So that was always interesting. And so to me, art that's worn is probably even almost more intriguing. My mom she studied like graphic arts when she first came to the Twin Cities from the country, which was like in the mid-40s, early 40s it would have been. So she had books. She never actually pursued a career in that. Yeah. But my mom and dad have books all over. So I get a hold of books, and I love books, and so I'm reading all her books on all this stuff, and you know, and that always intrigued me, the idea of fashion. So I kind of, and it's an exciting environment, and it's a charged environment, energy-charged environment, especially when you go to a show. You know, there's a lot of energy in that environment, and I guess that would be one of those things I think it would be really exciting to bring into this the public access here at North Metro.
I agree. I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
I am too.
And you mentioned your mom and dad, and that being, you know, sort of an inspiration for you know, your art in general, but especially for this. And that's one of the things I really like about this project too, is it's a family affair even beyond that. Yeah. Because your daughter's involved.
Yes, she has been in some of the stuff that we're working on. My hope would be for her to be a host on at least on a part-time basis for some stuff.
And which daughter is this?
Sarah.
Sarah.
She would be my second daughter. Yep.
Yes. And how has that been working? What's been the dynamic of working with her as host and a little bit collaborator? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she's helping you come up with the questions and structuring kind of the interview part of things a little more.
Yes. When we've gone on an interview, when we've gone to some of the shows, she has played a kind of a role in, like, sometimes I have like a set of questions, which sometimes are kind of matter of fact sometimes, but then she has an insight into it that kind of prompts a little more emotive things, which I'm going, yes, that's good, Sarah. I didn't think of that, you know, which help, and I'm thinking, oh, which makes it more fun, you know, makes it fun to have her on a shoot like that. And there's even some stuff we've been working on having her in it, even like we shot some stuff on the Stone Arch Bridge, which I hope to incorporate into some things, where she's kind of introducing like maybe the pilot of what we might create here. Yeah. Which is, I'm looking forward to seeing what we come up with.
Did you always plan for her to be the host?
I had not originally planned that, but she's had an interest in fashion. In fact, she's even has some modeling offers right now, which she's always had an interest in it. So I thought maybe I should you know, approach her about that and ask her. And she said, yeah, I'd like to, you know, be a part of that. So I thought, ooh, I like that. It's fun to have something like someone in your family be a part of something like this.
Absolutely. And I mean, and you talked about that you've been to a number of events now.
Yes.
You've been going to, I know you've been going to runway shows and after parties and things like that. And so something you've been talking to me a lot lately is credentialing yourself, is getting into those sort of events. Can you, and I think that's something that our viewers would really like to hear. So how does that work, and how has that worked for you?
It's kind of a process that you almost have to become familiar with some of the people who are like the promoters. and it's a process of basically emailing or phoning those who are kind of usually it's like a promoter of an event, and letting them know what it is that you want to do, what your intent for what you capture there, and because they want to kind of know what you're going to do with this material.
Right.
And so, I mean, I mentioned that I'm, intending to produce a show at North Metro TV that's about fashion in the Twin Cities, basically capturing the fashion scene in the Twin Cities. And so then I get a response from them. Sometimes it's more questions. Sometimes it's, oh, that sounds great. Let's go with this. Sometimes it's like, I'm not sure we're ready for you to do this. And it's been that way on a couple of occasions too. So.
But you just gotta try, and certainly more than enough, more times than how to put it. You've had success enough times to to keep doing it and keep trying, and I've seen some of the footage. It's fantastic stuff. I'm really looking forward to getting it on the channel. It is. It's great fun. Well, that is all the questions I have for you, Mark.
It is.
It is. So in a second, we'll take a look at a clip from Passion for Fashion.
Okay.
Okay, but thank you for joining us.
It was a pleasure.
All right, thanks.
Fun talking with you, Eric.
You too, Mark. All right, let's take a look.
Through the process, I really found that I loved structure. I was fascinated with corsets, all the boning, and how you can make a garment just sort of stand up on its own without a body. I made this dress that literally can stand up without anybody in it. I think I would probably love to do custom work. I would love it. I love the female form. I love it when it's presented in a positive light. And sometimes, mass-produced garments, that sort of can get lost a little bit. And yeah, it's a great garment, but it needs a little tweak here, a little tweak there. And why not build it for the woman? So I would love to do that. Make it work.
I'd like to thank Mark again for joining us on this month's In Focus. I'd also like to thank our wonderful crew who, as always, was made up of students taking our free monthly How to Make a TV Show class. If you'd like to sign up for that or any of our other free classes, visit www.northmetrotv.com or call or email 763-231-2803 or eric@northmetrotv.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next month on In Focus.